Hello and welcome to Ditch Witch Diaries. Today we are still in our cleansing section. Actually, for the next 3 turns, we are probably 3 weeks, so maybe more because I'm going out of town for a little bit, so maybe even longer than that. But we are doing kind of a practical cleansing day today. So I'm going to start off because mine has to go for a long time. You'll see what I mean. So let's just get cooking, shall we? Literally, let's get cooking. We are making resin infused oil. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have one slide and then which is going to describe how to make it, and then we're actually going to make it. And then we'll come back at the end and we will talk about what you can do with resin infused oil and what you can do with and some practical cleansing things that just came to my head that may be a little unique or interesting. But anyway, so how to make an infused oil. Okay, and this is kind of going to be for any infused oil, but there's some specific resin pieces here. So you have to decide how much resin and oil to use. Okay, so I looked everywhere for the ratios on this. Anywhere between 1 to 2 and 1 to 8. I'm going to do a 1 to 4 just to split the damn difference, right? So but it depends on how strong you want it and apparently the herb you're using. I saw a 1 to 2 for Copal, but I'm gonna do a 1 to 4. 1 to 2 seems a little extreme. So anyway, so we're gonna grind the Copal, and you can use a coffee grinder, but I'm not gonna use a coffee grinder. I'm gonna use a mortar and pestle, pestle, I can't even say that word, or like whatever you want to use to grind up your resin. And some resin is really hard, so I don't know if I may have to stop and get out the grinder. It depends on how hard this is. I'm going to be using some of that Mayan resin and Copal resin. And I also want to say that like one of my friends went to Chichén Itzá. Shout out to Chelsea because I know you watch our station. But she went to Chichén Itzá and she brought back some Copal, and her kids are a little sensitive to it or don't like it or something, and so she sent me a picture because she saw like the Copal video. So I'm excited to use that as well. But the resin I'm using is from Mexico, and it's not a white resin, it's a Mayan resin. So so then my next question is, so how do you get this 1 to 2 or 1 to 8 or 1 to 4, which we're doing? Do you weigh it or do you use it by volume? Because for a lot of things like tinctures or even with most herbs, I kind of do it the simplest method, which is just to add about 2 inches above the medium, so above the resin or above the dried herb. Okay, because you want to use dried herbs because any water that you introduce is going to create bacteria. So if you're using has nothing to do with resins because resins aren't implicated by this, but herbs, if you do an oil and you use a non-dried herb, you're going to introduce bacteria to your oil. So, but we're talking about resins. So I could have done the simplest method, which is just to do 2 inches above, but I wanted to kind of see how this would work out. So I wanted to see and obviously there's no consensus. Obviously it's just whatever I could have used the simplest method is what I'm saying, because it doesn't seem like anybody knows anything about it.
Yeah, and it's just going to be like more diluted or more concentrated, right? I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
a major deal one way or the
Yeah,
other.
and it kind of like we're gonna strain it. You'll see, we'll strain it out, but I think a lot of it kind of even is gonna melt almost in. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so we're gonna use Copal and we're gonna use almond oil, and oh good. I had the almond oil in the fridge because anytime you have an oil, and Like it should look like this. If it turns color, you'll know that it is what is the word for that? Gone bad, but there's a word for when oil goes bad. It's
Uh,
I forgot the name. Anyway, rancid, gone rancid.
there you go.
Okay, so and you may not be able to smell it or it may smell off, but either way, it can really be toxic and irritating. So, like an oil unopened, you should really, and I love how this doesn't really say a date. They should have a date on here, but it's not going to last longer than like 6 months to a year, even in the fridge. So just be aware of that. So, and we're going to weigh it today just for shits and giggles because I never do. And so we're going to give it a go. And I have a scale that I never use because I always do the simplers method. So today we're going to try something. So then you're going to weigh your resin, and then you're going to times that measurement by 4 and add that much oil to the mason jars. You're going to like measure up, like weigh the oil, and then do so. We'll look at how to do that. Okay, then with a resin, this is unique because you don't have to do this with a regular, like a dried herb infused oil, but you have to put plastic wrap or some other and I don't think that the paper is going to work.
Mm,
I think it has to be plastic wrap. Otherwise it will stick.
yeah.
Like it will, like the lid is going to stick to your jar and you will have to like break your jar. Like it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So, you need plastic wrap and I'm not an advocate of plastic wrap. So if you find a better way, maybe like beeswax but I don't know, that would get all hot. I was trying to
Yeah.
think of like possible alternatives, but even like fabric would get like adhered. Like you need
I
that
do
isn't
use,
adhered.
anytime I'm making an infused oil, I do use plastic wrap, but I use the same scrap of plastic wrap for like every time. So if it's like the plastic usage that's kind of like throwing off that like people don't like, which I totally get,
I
I
get
just reuse the same one.
that, or maybe even there's like a little silicone, like a really thin silicone
Mm.
reusable that we could get. I don't have one of those, so
Yeah.
we're gonna use plastic wrap this time, okay? And you're gonna secure it with like a rubber band. And like I said, if you don't do this, then the lid is gonna stick on and you won't be able to get it off, and then it's just a waste of time and money and copal. Okay, so then you're gonna place the jar in the crock pot, okay? And because we're gonna use a crock pot, that's the easiest way to make an infused oil. The other way is on a double boiler, and I'm telling you, like the water, because it's gonna go for like 4 hours, and the water could like boil out, like get evaporated. And when you do that, you wreck everything. You wreck the pan, you wreck the infusion. Don't do that. So my favorite way is to get a crock pot. And the crock pots are so dang cheap. So don't think twice. Just go over
Yeah.
to your local store or wherever you get,
Thrift store.
yeah, thrift store, wherever you want to do it. But they're so cheap. I think they're probably cheaper at like I can't even imagine them being any cheaper anywhere. They're like 20 bucks,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And you'll use them over and over and over again. I have a little one, I have a big one, I have all
Yeah.
sorts of ones. Okay. You're going to place it in the crock pot. Then you are going to fill the crock pot with water, and the water is it needs to cover like the line of the oil. So it needs to be higher than that, and like if it can go a couple inches above, then so be it. I'm not going to make a lot today, so that's going to be available to us. So the best is that it can go like at least an inch or two above so that the water is like all around the jar, right? It's called, I think, what is it? A bain-marie, maybe?
Yeah.
It's, or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can also make souffle. That's how you make souffles, like in the oven, is you put water and that's how you do it. That's how you do it. So then you're going to you're going to turn the hot crock pot on low, and you're going to heat it, especially with resins, it needs to be on low. Slow and low, that is the tempo. And you're going to like do it for 4 to 6 hours. Sometimes it's going to be 8 hours, right? You're going to take this jar out though, and you're going to shake it. And let me show you the tool.
I love your tool. I have yet to find one like that, actually.
So let me just show you this tool. Okay, this is the tool, right? And the tool, let me put it around, and this is not open. This is just a jar. So this is how it, like when you pick it up, you pick it up like this, so you don't have to get all like wet or it doesn't get burned, and you just can shake it like this and then stick it right back in. And remember, there's going to be plastic wrap. We'll see the whole thing anyway. So this is the tool, and I got this at like a garage sale. So, but I've seen them at like Winco.
Yeah, I'm sure you can
like,
find them. I just forget about it until I need it, you know?
Exactly, exactly. So let me share my screen again. Okay. So then you're going to heat on low, and you're going to shake it every half hour to an hour until it looks and smells done. I really don't know how it's going to look different. I'm excited to see it, but I can tell you, if you're using a dried herb, the herbal material looks spent. That's like the word. It should look,
yeah, like less colored.
yes.
And
if you do it on high, you could fry the herbs, and you don't want to do that. So the low is the best. It's just the best for everything. Don't get, although I get all crazy and want to do it in a couple hours, but it's way better to do it slow and low. Okay, then we're going to strain this, and you can do it with a nut milk bag strainer, like that one we used for the kava. Remember that? I have one of those, but you know what? I really don't want to get it oily. Like, I'm like really weird about getting those things oily.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to, and especially with resin, it'll always smell like it. So the other option is what? Coffee filters. So you could use a coffee filter, or this, oh, I got a good one too. It's like a clean pair of pantyhose that like a knee highs, and you can even like kind of put those over a bottle or a jar and attach those, and then pour it into it, and you can even like strain it out. In fact, I might get that. So you can, that's a really good, but make sure that the pantyhose are clean and washed and don't have fabric softener on them.
Yeah. And you can use cheesecloth, but you would have to fold it over a bunch of times because the cheesecloth holes are so big.
They are. I find cheesecloth to be a little. And anyways, I think if you have pantyhose, I mean, that's a thing of the past. I get it. I have an ass ton of pantyhose though, so because I just can't get rid of anything. Yeah. So, anyway, like knee highs. I used to work in a job where I always wore like pantyhose, so whatever. Anyway, so then we're going to stop the slides now, and we're going to actually do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to create a space right here, and I'm going to point my camera down so you guys can all see what I'm doing. Okay. See how that works? And this is the little scale. See how that works? How fun is that? Okay, so I have this copal here that I've kind of like measured out, and I should just put it on one of these here because this is probably negotiably not here. Let me see. I'm going to turn it on, and we'll tear, and it's pounds and ounces right now, so we'll just leave it at that. Whatever. That's like what in America we're used to. So this is the copal right here, and so we have. It says it's like 1.5 ounces. Does that seem right?
0.15?
No, 1.5. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So 1.5 ounces. So then we're going to times that by 4. So that's actually makes it easy. Okay. So, and I'm still going to use a pen because I can't think of it. So 24, 6 ounces. We're going to use 6 ounces of oil. Okay. So
I don't think you said, but is there a reason you're doing this with almond oil? Do you have a preference, or is that just what you had on hand?
Okay, so the reason why I'm using almond oil, here, I'll put this back up. The reason why I'm using almond oil is because I wasn't going to eat it. it wasn't going to be anything I would eat. So sometimes if you want to use it and ingest it, you could use olive oil. And you could use olive oil too if you were just going to use it for like body or anointing or whatever. Olive oil is a great alternative. And I almost did like a really like, it's not even, you want like, they're specific to it too. You don't want it to smell very much like olives either. So you've got to like pick your olive oil, like certain, there's some like pressing issues with it, like about how you want it so that it doesn't go bad as easy. But so I just was like, screw it. I'm going to use this only for my body. I'm going to use almond oil. I thought about adding some jojoba afterwards or some vitamin E maybe afterwards, because, but it also had to do with what I'm going to have you guys, like the kind of spell work afterwards that I'm going to do. So
Nice.
the first, and then let me put this down again so we can see what I'm doing here, because the last time I did things, I feel like it was like, not like as, geez Louise, this is gnarly.
I see the powder coming off.
I know, it's like totally, like, I don't know if this is like, maybe I will have to get maybe I'm going to have to get the grinder. In fact, I'm just going to get the grinder. So I'll pause this and we'll come back with the grinder. Obviously, this is too hard. So, so here is my coffee grinder. And I don't know if I've ever even used this, maybe like once, because I have like 4 coffee grinders, but they're all like put away right now. Well, they're not going to be for long, I'll tell you that. There we go. So the alternative to what I was pounding on is just to stick this all in a coffee grinder. So we're gonna see how much we can get in there. There we go. And all of it went in nicely. Ooh, look at that.
Ooh, that looks cool. It's nice because I can't hear the coffee grinder at all. I just hear it go.
So we have this. Now, before I do anything, I think I want to measure out this oil, this 6 ounces of oil into the jar we're going to be using. So we're going to be using this jar right here, the small jar, right? And you know what? I'm going to go get a funnel as well, which I didn't get. Okay, this is another little canning goodie too. So these are all from like the world of canning and jarring. Like these, they like fit on these jars like so nicely. Okay, so right now I'm gonna actually like first of all, I'm gonna tear it. So then, okay, so this jar weighs 4.6 ounces. So instead of just like adding it to 10, I'm gonna tear it out. If you push the tear button, it goes to 0. And then we can, literally, I just used my teeth to undo that. Whatever. So then we are going to pour this in until it is 6, which is so much. I don't know if it can go in this jar.
I was just, when you put that on the scale, I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's gonna work.
I know, that's crazy. Okay, maybe that won't work. Maybe like, let's see here. Maybe that's not gonna work.
You could cut the
I have a bigger jar. I have a bigger
get a bigger jar. Yeah.
Yeah, I could cut the resin.
Yeah.
But let me see. Hold on. Let me tear this out. I do have a bigger jar, but I kind of wanted it to be smaller. I don't know why I did. Okay, so let's see. Let's cut this resin. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut the resin because I do not want this much of this at all. So let's tear this out. Ah, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have used my
again.
product that I brought in. Okay, this is 0.5. 0.5. I think maybe we should do.
You wanted 0.75, right? Is that what you want? Half of 1.5?
Yeah, I want points. Let's see. So let's see.
Or close. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to
Yeah. Okay. So this is close.
There you go.
0.7. So
Nice.
0.7, so 2.8, is that 7 times 4, right?
Yeah.
2.8. Okay, so that's how we're going to use, we've changed the ratio. We've changed it now. So now we've got 0.7 0.7 ounces of the 0.7 ounces of the resin. So now we're going to get 2.8 ounces of, and I'm going to like literally do this. Okay, so 2.8 ounces is where I want this to be. So I'm going to tear this out, and I could add this in right now. I could add this in right now and then do it, but I'm not because I want to see how much it is. So I'm going to hit the tear button, and I should have showed you guys all this. Here, like I can do this like this. Like, okay. So we hit the tear button here and see how it goes to 0, 0. So then we're going to go to, what did I say? Point. So I need
2.8.
2.8. 6. That's 2.9. That'll be fine. That'll be close. We're not like making it. So then I'm going to add this right here to this mixture right here. So let's get rid of this first of all. I'm making it's very messy. And in fact, I have a an apron that I failed to put on because that's what I do here. So then we're going to take this, we're going to stick this in here, and we're just going to add our resin to the mix like this. And another thing I should have done that I don't have is let me go get a spoon. Okay. So then we're going to sit and we're going to mix this in, and it may not want to mix in as well, but it's looking pretty mixy. Looking fine. But you want to mix it in pretty well here. It's pretty rad.
I don't think the simplest method would work for powdered resin, huh? You'd probably have
Neither
to
do
keep
I,
it
because you wouldn't be
whole.
able to see it. So
Yeah.
maybe that's definitely why. It kind of like melts in.
Yeah.
Like you look at it, like it's kind of like in there.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't work. So maybe we can't do it. So no one, I'm glad I chose to do the not simplest method.
Yeah.
The method. So then we're going to take this and we're going to take a piece of our plastic wrap, as you recall. This plastic wrap right here. And it's shitty plastic wrap. I'll tell you that. It's like literally shitty plastic wrap. Okay. It's not, it probably wouldn't cling even if I wanted it to. It would be nicer if I had some big rubber bands, but I don't. So I'm just gonna do it twice, and I'm gonna use 2 of them. And then I'm actually gonna cut this like so it doesn't like drag everywhere. Oh, great. There we go. Here. I should probably even put this up higher because I'd rather have it like not, I'd rather have it like not in the water as much as I could if possible. So I don't know what like this, I don't know if this is hot enough to melt this plastic is what I'm kind of saying. I don't know if the water is going to get hot enough to like destroy this plastic, but I would just rather avoid the plastic water situation if at all possible. Okay. So now we have this little plastic covered mixture. And the next thing we're going to do is here, let me clear this all off. Some resins are going to be much easier to break up with a mortar and pestle, and some are not because it all depends on how hard the resin is.
Yeah, I mean, dragon's blood is pretty easy to break apart because it's kind of like, it's almost like aerated a little bit.
It is. Some are, and some of them are much easier too.
Yeah.
Okay, so then this is like my little crock pot, and there you go. I'm going to put this into the crock pot like this. Okay. This is actually really good how this is working out here.
Mm.
And then, even though it's a little, then I have water, and I'm going to fill this up past where the line is. And I'm going to kind of look at it here and got to go more. There we go. Let me see here, just make sure that it's up past this line. It certainly is. I may even want to fill it more, and plastic be damned. Okay, so it is up on there, and then I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to put the lid on it, which is where? Where's the lid? That would be a good thing. Huh? Where is the lid? It's in the other room. I love how I leave things in one room and every hour. And I'm going to set an alarm on my iPhone for an hour. Because in an hour, I want to pull this out and shake it. And every hour, I'm going to pull it out and shake it. So I'm just going to keep resetting it until it's done. I'm going to set it over here.
I have a question for you too, like just on your opinion. I mean, we've made lots of infused oils before, but so we kind of briefly talked about if you're using herbs, dried herbs, that you can often tell by like the color of the herbs that are in the jar when it's ready.
Yes.
With resin, would you agree that you would probably want to go more based on smell?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to open it up and see. I don't know how it's going to be. Maybe it'll, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to separate. I don't know what's going to happen. This is like, I don't think I've made an resin infused oil.
I haven't either. We've done lots of herbs, but I haven't really made a resin one.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for this. And if it's a thing, then I may be doing it a lot more with a lot of other things.
Nice.
So, anyway, that's that. Okay, so here is the first, and I'll put a 1 up here. This is the first time that we are going to check and see how our oil is doing and look at it, see how it's going. So let me pick this up. Remember how I told you about that? Oh, look. Okay, so let's see how, if there's a little separation there. I'm going to shake it until there's no separation. See the sediment down there? I'm going to give it a good little shake there. Shakety shake. I'm going to put it back in. You can also see how it's collecting on the top. You see that? That's probably a good reason why you do not want to use those lids, because if you don't use if you don't use that's the dogs, my sweet roommate's dogs. If you don't use the plastic wrap, see how it is all kind of collecting on that lid there like that? See that? So anyway, I'll meet you at the next hour. Okay, here we are at hour 2. And we are going to see, so there's 2. We're going to see what's going on here. Shall we, folks? Let's see if anything's changed, if I can smell it, that's for sure. I wish we had smell-o-vision here. So I don't really see any noticeable change. We're going to do the same thing, though. We're just going to go probably for 4 hours here. Maybe some more is incorporated, less sediment at the bottom. So there we have it, hour 2. Okay, here we are, hour 3. Let's take a look at what we have going here. We will grab our special. Ooh, now it really is smelling. That might be the way. This is smelling extraordinary now. Extraordinarily strong. I think next hour it will be done. And you can see the top is completely covered. There's really not a lot of change happening in the bottom here. But I can tell you that when I lifted the lid, just the smell was amazing. So 1 more hour. Okay, here we go. Number 4, the last hour, and we're going to strain now. So I have it set up here, and I'm going to take this out. I probably shouldn't have shook that up there, but I did. I'm going to turn this off, unplug, and move out of the way. And now we're, that is hotsy freaking totsy. I should let it cool down. Okay. We might let it cool down for a little bit. But I don't want it to, well, I'll let it cool down for a little bit. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna pour this into this prepared jar with the coffee filter on it. We're just gonna let it sit because it's gonna take a while to go through that, I feel. Yep, it's gonna take a while to filter on through that, and we're just gonna let it go. I keep pouring more in, and it's slowly dripping through the filter. It's going to take a while, and as you can see from this, the sediment is clearly down at the bottom. Okay, after making an utter and hopeless mess of things, I have come up with a little bit of this yummy, delicious, amazing oil. And the moral of the story is that you need to use either pantyhose or like gauze, like cheesecloth that's been quadruple folded or something, because those coffee filters are not cutting it with this. So there you go. That's that, and it is liquid cleansing gold. And now let's go back to the slides, and we're going to talk about like what you can do with this Copal infused oil. Clean up this whole.
I'm gonna feed my pet real quick. Hold on.
Okay. Which pet?
My squirrel.
Oh, your squirrel. Oh my gosh, that's the best. Your squirrel. Squirrel. And then okay, so while you're gone, I'll just I will say a little things about like what I'm gonna do probably with the rest of that ground up resin. I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna save it aside, and I'll use it for incense. 100%. You can just put one of the rocks onto like a charcoal if you want. That's good too. Or you can just grind it up and you can sprinkle it on. That's a possibility as well. And if you mix, this copal is not especially sticky, but if you mix a stickier resin with with an herbal material, it will actually, it'll create like much more of a resiny texture. So that's, anyway. So there's that. So now let's start sharing again and see what I have here. What did I do? Okay, so we stopped the slides and now we're back. So now how can I use this Copal infused oil that we're making? How can I use it for cleansing? That's very important. So you can make, you can use oils, you can make these oils with cleansing herbs or resins like we just did. And then you can use them for anointing candles for cleansing. That's a possibility. You can anoint your body for cleansing. Ideas include your pulse points, your feet, and we're going to talk about these actually, your hands, something like that, other parts. You can seal jars or sigils for extra power. So if you're using a sigil for cleansing or you're making some sort of cleansing jar, you can seal it with this copal oil. You can, or you can, even if you're making a spell jar for something else, you can cleanse the outside or make like, it could create a circle inside of which is cleansed. So it can kind of create a barrier for you. It can be used as like a barrier oil. You can trace the borders of your circle that you're working in to create like a cleansed space. You can drop it on, like if you're offering something to your deity, you can put drops on it to cleanse the offering before you make it. So that's an option. You can also, if you don't want to do anything that's toxic or weird, you could if it's an herb that can be used on your body, you could add it to bath water for extra cleansing bath. So now I've done 2 rituals and they're pretty much the same. Okay, so what I thought of originally is putting it on the bottom of your feet. You're making oil, so it's going to be good for your feet anyway. And I also thought about because I thought like, okay, what if you like put it on your bottom of your feet and then everywhere you walked, like your footsteps were cleansed from other people like using like magic against you, like your foot, like people use your foot paths or your footsteps like as like a way to like use magic against you. And what if like you cleanse your footprint like to protect you almost, or to cleanse your path, like from, or wherever you walk, even like you could walk your circle or you could walk the perimeter of your house, and that like you could be cleansing the path that you're walking. So one or the other. So that's the first thing that I thought of. So how would you do this? So first, open your space however you want to open it. And then you can anoint a black or a brown candle. And I thought, because brown is like you're touching the earth, you're like, it's an earthy kind of thing. So you could do either one. Black's always a good one for like cleansing. People sometimes like white too. So if white's your thing, we talked about white with banishing, but it can also be like used with cleansing. So black, white, or brown. So anoint the candle with copal oil, just like we talked about, right? So that's one of the things you can do. And then while meditating on stepping where no one can use your footprint, or freedom of movement, or cleansing your footprint area. So you sit and while you're doing anointing your candle, you can meditate on these things, what you're like building power over this thing. And like light your candle, right? Then you can light it, right? And then you can I like to light the candle first, but some people switch this around. Call on your deity, right?
I light the candle first too.
Okay. Call on your deity, and you know my Circe call. So you can do, if you have one, or if you just think about it, or however you do it. And then you could even light some copal incense, or you could take some of the copal that you overground and you could sprinkle that on some charcoal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you would anoint the bottom of your feet with the copal oil. And I would say this thrice. While you're doing it, you could say something like this. As I walk, no spell shall cling, no shadow follow, no curse take wing. With Copal's fire, my steps are free, only my will shall carry me. And I would say that 3 times. So and then while I'm doing that, and then I would let the incense and the candle burn down while I'm feeling like the power of that moment. And if you want to like walk the path, if that's what you're doing, or if it's just like a general like nobody can use my footprint kind of spell, then that's where you would end it. So there's that one. And then you could thank your deity, you could do all the stuff to close your circle, however you do that, you could do that. Okay, so then the other ones would be cleanse my name or the words from your mouth. Like get my name out of your mouth, that kind of spell. Or like stop talking about what I've been saying. Like stop using my words against me, or like things like that. So again, you would open your space, and this time you would anoint like a black or white or blue candle. So because blue is also the throat chakra, so we're going to go with blue. And you could do blue or black or white. And you're going to anoint that with copal oil while meditating upon keeping your name or your words out of other people's mouth when they're using them for like negativity or ill will, right? So you know how it works. People are gossiping about you, or people are saying you said something that you didn't say, or whatever. So that's what this would be for, right? Cleansing like the words that come out of your mouth, cleanse so that nobody can use them for ill, okay? Or if you're going to go up and speak somewhere, or if you're going to say something controversial, or if you're planning something, you may want to cleanse your throat chakra and cleanse the words that are coming out of your mouth, right? And copal oil would be a great choice for that. So you want to, again, call in your deity. You're gonna light that candle, anoint it and light it, which I didn't put in there, but that you are indeed. You're not just gonna anoint the candle and leave it there. You're gonna light it. You're gonna call in your deity. You're gonna light the copal incense. And then you're gonna want to anoint your throat chakra with copal oil while saying this thrice. Upon my voice, no thief shall feed. No tongue repeat, no echo mislead. With copal's flame, my words are mine, pure and cleansed by design. So then you're going to let the incense burn and the candle burn down while you feel the power of this moment, right? And then you're going to close your space, thank your deity, and that will be that. So those were my 2 ideas that just came to me, that were just my thoughts about what you could do with like copal infused oil. And I hope you got something not only from the making of the resin oil, which we all learned something this time, especially about resin, that you need to measure it.
Yeah.
Like you need to, because it goes in. It's not like you could see herb material.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, little pro tip, dry herbal material absorbs. So you have to put a lot less than you think. I always screw that up, fuck it up. I always do. Like I always put, here, let me adjust it. I always put way more like herb, like I want it to be really strong. And so I put a ton of herbs, and then the oil like is like, it just sucks into it. So there's no like liquid. Then I have to like dig out some of the like the spongy material. So word of the wise, don't do that. Okay, so this is a 1 to 4 copal to almond oil oil infusion, copal almond oil infusion. And I hope now we know how to do that. And not only that, what I didn't put in here that is almost like as important or more important that you could do with it, save it to the end. So if you got this far, then you get the other thing you get to do. You can make a lotion or a salve out of it. You need to have an oil and an infused oil if you want to make a lotion or a salve. That's how they all start.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Very nice.
Very nice. So thank you for listening, and we hope you got all sorts of good information from this, and we will see you at the next Ditch Witch Diaries.